All right, welcome back to the A to Z challenge. We're all the way up to F for fear. Um, Fear is a very interesting and very hard thing. It manifests itself in many different ways. Some people call it writer's block. Some people call it anxiety. Uh, of course, I believe that fear and anxiety go hand in hand. What is it that you're so anxious about? Often you're anxious about something you're fearful about. Um, I happen to have a lot of anxiety tied up in all of the things that I do. And part of my anxiety with writing is that I have a tendency to fear a particular circumstance, and this is being judged. I apparently felt very judged my whole life, and I continue to. And there's nothing more judging than hearing what people have to say about your book. It's highly personal. Like, you spend a lot of time putting a lot of effort into it. Oftentimes, it's autobiographical without you even meaning it to be. And because of that, there's a lot of fear in how someone else is going to see it, especially, for me. And in writing, we're like, and the best thing you can do for a writer is to go onto Amazon and write a review. Judge me. Go forth and judge me. So I obviously have a lot of fear associated with this, which sometimes presents itself as, anxiety, worrisome, nervousness. I call it just, a general anxiousness, but it's a fear that I have. And you will find that a lot of people, maybe even you, have this fear as well. Um, and because of that, writing sometimes takes a lot of courage, a lot more courage than people really give it uh, credit for. Uh, I've done a lot of public speaking. I know, seems strange, right? I've done a lot of public speaking. Weird thing to be like, oh yeah, I used to do this thing where I just stood up in front of people and talked all the time. And, it bothered me like the first week I did it, but then after that, it just became like, it's so inefficient to be this fearful and anxious. And I keep waiting for that moment in my writing to be like, this is so inefficient to be this anxious and fearful. And it keeps not happening. And, it was such a big breakthrough for me with public speaking to go from being like really worked up and anxious and nervous and concerned to being like, I don't have time to feel like this. I got to get on with my life. And I did a signing recently, and I felt that anxiousness and that fear, and I very clearly had to program myself and be like, no, no, remember, you don't have time to feel anxious and fearful. You have to get up on stage and do the reading. Okay, and now we're in it. Oh my god, my heart's racing. Yes, but your heart racing is inefficient. Let's keep moving. And that's always worked for me, the inefficient thing, and it doesn't with writing. And I think it's because writing is so personal. And the thing that I would warn you about, dear writer, is that the fear that you might be experiencing might actually be something deeper. It might not just be fear. It could, in fact, be, um, you know, undiagnosed anxiety. I had never had a panic attack before, and then I had a full blown panic attack. I thought I was going to die. I had a hard time breathing. My heart rate skyrocketed for no reason. Well, actually, there was a reason, but we're not going to talk about it. And it was definitely related to my writing. And so it's really useful to take your fears and sort of look at them and know them. Understand what's causing those so that you can work past it. The inefficient thing I never found it to actually pan out. Um, Sorry. I wish it did because it was so cool with my public speaking to just be like, I don't have time to feel like that. We got some work to do. We're going to do it now. And I've never gotten there with the writing. And I think it's because it's so personal and so vulnerable when you're writing. So, yeah, fear. Be wary of it, explore it, but also, allow yourself space from it. I guess it comes back to that old, you know, idiom, which is why it's an idiom. Know thyself. Start there. All right. Good luck.